Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to Bronco Wild Outdoors. I'm here with
Gavin.
Mr. Gavin, and so we're having some technical stuff. You know, when you have a live stream and you have someone in another country joining you, sometimes there's some technical stuff going on. So if Dustin can make it, we're going to patch him in here, and we'll pick it up from there. So when tonight we're talking about the Ecoboost, right?
Yeah.
So you've heard some people have some issues about, well, it's the 2.3 or the 2.7. Which one should I go with? And what do we think about the EcoBoost?
Yeah.
Remember, I did the video where we kind of dive deep into it, and it's one of the things where I'm trying to get a straight answer because, bless you, I'm trying to get a straight answer because I do not want to give you bad advice. I know oil catch cans are great. Um, they they work. The question, because it's a political question, is if you install a catch can on your engine, are you going to void some type of warranty?
Yeah.
So thank you, All Terrain Nation, for that. Man, we love that. That's awesome. Congratulations. You're our first super chat, by the way.
Yeah.
And normally I'm not going to break in for every one of them, but I'm going to for that. You're awesome. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
a big congratulations to All Terrain Nation. They hit 5,000. Well, now they're over, but 5,000 subscribers this week. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Well earned, my friend. Well earned. So you've done a lot for us. So the catch cans, the oil catch cans to catch the vapor, the crankcase vapor. So this is one of those things to where I don't want to give you bad advice and tell you, yeah, to install one, and then suddenly, oops, something happens to your engine, totally unrelated, and voids the warranty. However, I am waiting for clarification. Now, I can tell you, if mine was day one out of warranty, I would do it.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you, my man, are going to help me. So when you deal with the 2.3, you're dealing with the direct injection only. The 2.7 is dual injection. And by the way, since we're having that technical thing tonight, let's talk about the Raptor engine. So it's keeping me awake at night. So we have something cool coming up on that. The Bronco Raptor. You gotta love it. That's just a cool name, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Bronco Raptor. So in the 2.7, you have the part of it's a two-piece block, right? CGI block and part aluminum, and then the composite oil pan bolts to the bottom of that. That's a really strong engine, but it is dual injection. So you have the advantage of having that fuel spray into the intake on the intake valve, and that helps to keep the intake valve cooler. And to keep the carbon washed off of it, and also out of the intake bore itself. See, a lot of people don't realize that cold start rough idle is one of the first signs of carbon buildup. Did you know that?
No.
You knew that.
No.
You don't drive, but you knew that. So that rough idle, but the EcoBoost is the saying is there's no replacement for displacement. Ford has figured out how to make the government happy with the fuel regulations and to keep us happy with the performance that we demand.
Yeah.
And so, it's the best of both worlds. They've played moderator. So what they're doing is they're giving us the performance that we want,
yeah,
and they're making old Uncle Sam okay with the gas mileage. So what is that doing is you're taking less displacement and you're pumping more air and fine tuning with VCT, variable cam timing, ignition timing, and you're basically making an engine run absolutely as good as it possibly can.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
All righty. We're going to take a break here, and hopefully Dustin can chime in. I'm hoping he picks it up. Like I said, when you have somebody from another country, sometimes there's technical difficulties logging in, and so we'll figure all that out. So guess what?
What is glowing?
So something you don't need to worry about. So,
see?
Oh, that's your light behind you, dude. We've got all these crazy lights going on in here. Okay. So here's the deal. 2.7. I was going to talk to Dustin about this tonight. So the Raptor engine. So the business. Okay. First of all, we predicted 3.0 because I think it makes the most sense. the hobby engine builder in me would rather to modify a 2.7 for the CGI aspects of it, and also the fact that it's already there. Because obviously, if you bought a Bronco and you're going to work on the engine, you're less likely to buy a crate engine and install it in your Bronco. You're more likely to modify what's there. So deep down, I think that Ford wants to stick with the 2.7 engine, and they kind of want to crank up the performance of it. I think the business side of it, if the business owner in me says, wait a minute, let's not spend all this money and redesign into 2.7 and let's use something that we have. Wouldn't that make the most sense?
Yeah.
And so part of me says they're going to modify heavily a 2.7, but like I said, the penny pinching side of me says we're going to use the 3.0. So prediction still stands 3.0, but man, wouldn't it be cool if they hopped up a 2.7?
Yeah.
The CGI is pretty cool too, because that, the compacted graphite iron is a very strong material. It's what the cylinder block of the Power Stroke diesel is made out of. And that's, that engine goes, it's like 1,000 feet-pound of torque. So, hello. I'm gone in 60. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. So I like the 2.7 for that aspect, but what do you think they're going to do? Oh, and tell everyone and actually, All Terrain Nation, I watched your deal that your live stream from Monday. I watched it on Thursday, and I saw that. And I need to tell Dave I wasn't trying to copy you, but seriously, I've been thinking about this. Which one would you do? And I say 3.0 for the business side of things. But man, if you just let the engineers go crazy and budget wasn't an issue, it would probably be the 2.7 gone wild. The bore of the 3.0 is 85 millimeters, and the stroke is 86 millimeters. So it's a stroker. I mean, compare it to the 8306, the 83.06 millimeter bore and stroke. So the 2.7 is what we call a square engine. The bore and the stroke's identical in same measurement. So think about that 85 millimeter bore against the 83 millimeter. So, but it's also lower compression. Do you know why it's lower compression? I think, my humble opinion, they're boosting it a little bit more boost on it. So that engine's going to have a little bit more oomph. Yeah, right. The oomph. How do you say oomph? Okay. What did we see yesterday? So yesterday at a local dealership, there was 3 Outer Banks that came in. And by the way, I don't know what the most popular Bronco trim is that's ordered. But
I think Badlands, but right now, like delivered, I think it's Outer Banks.
Yeah, well, yeah. So our area seems to be, and we live in the Hampton Roads area here, just north of the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of Outer Banks today. So today out in the wild, I saw Area 51 Outer Banks on the interstate. Guys going like 90. And then I saw a race red Wild Track. But Saturday, Gavin and I were at a local dealership, and 3 had just come off the truck. They're farm fresh. They still had the road debris on them and everything. And right. All Terrain Nation said Badlands being the most popular trim, and I would agree with that, because in my opinion, my humble opinion, the most capable off-road for people that don't want to go wrenching on your vehicle day one. But Gavin and I, the stickers on the side that says the country of origin for the engine and transmission, I thought it was interesting. The 2.7 says U.S. on the engine and U.S. on the transmission. On the 2.3, it had Mexico as the engine,
but
U.S. on the transmission. However, and maybe things have changed and I just didn't get the memo, but Cleveland engine plant typically builds the 2.3 and Lima builds the 2.7.
Yeah.
Thought that was interesting. So there, I said it. The sticker on the side of the Bronco, who knows? But, things change. What does that matter? It doesn't really matter. It says maybe they're moving things around, and I know they're cranking the production up. We're starting to see them on the road in our area a lot more. And the dealer, like I said, the dealer still had their mannequin. I think they moved it out from the front of the building, so I think it's getting ready to get shipped out soon. But they had 3 ordered Broncos come in. They were special order, sold stickers already in them. But so, yeah. trying to read. Sorry, I was trying to read something here. Hey, what do you guys think about this green Bronco that we've got coming? So we've got another Badlands on the way. It'll be here. Do you think I ought to paint the top on it? So we have an MIC top coming. What do you think we ought to paint it white or like an off white? And of course, the grill and the wheels to match.
White.
What do you think?
White.
White or off white? I want to know.
White.
I want to know. I want to know. So, yeah, not many in Chicago. So yeah, the thing is that, when you look at the country as a whole, I don't know where the most Broncos are sold. I mean, obviously you would start with think the most heavily populated areas would probably be where you would start.
Or Michigan?
Well, not really. I mean, yeah,
Well,
it's right
they'll
in
be the first ones to be delivered too.
well, I think it's about whoever it's satisfying the orders. It's not necessarily proximity. Sure, if you have somebody that ordered one in Florida and someone in Wayne, Michigan ordered one, there's good chance, and they're built at the exact same time, that somebody in Wayne's going to get it quicker than Florida, right? I mean, just
Yeah, because
But I think you have to look at when they were reservation, dealer allocation, order place, commodity stuff. What's in the pipeline ready to be bolted on. Which was interesting on our second Bronco. I don't know if it's because I kind of threw a monkey in the rent, so to speak. But let's see, what was it? The day after I got a build date, we changed the trim and we changed everything, right? Well, just about everything. Changed the trim. But I tried adding tow and it wouldn't let me. And then we also tried, what else did we try adding? And it wouldn't say, front modular bumper. So we couldn't do the modular. So I don't know if that's, Johnny last week was saying, well, maybe it was because that, we did change the order after a build date and there was some issue there. Quite possible. I totally get that. It could be the case. So, we will, we'll go there. Yeah. Smash that. You're supposed to be saying smash the like button, dude. See, David's having to do your job for you. What's up with that?
Don't know.
Tell everyone what to do.
Smash the like button.
Hey, Gavin and I, we've had a lot of stuff going on this week. Today was the official last day of sports for Gavin, so we're gonna have more time to kind of do day tripping and videos, right?
Yeah.
And so
Saturdays we have a lot more free time.
Yeah, we have a couple cool videos coming out. The turbo video, man, I am getting ready to say something, and you guys are going to blow up the comments, but we're going to talk about, now this is engine oil related, so no crazy comments. Coking. Coking in the turbos. So root beer. No, it's called, like Coca-Cola, but no, it's called, no, I love Coke, but it's called coking in the turbos. Now, this is an oil related issue. And is it something that you have to worry about? That video is going to be outstanding about turbo maintenance. It's actually called turbo etiquette. Imagine that. Etiquette. You know what etiquette is. Etiquette in the turbo world. You don't typically put those two words together. But anyway. So, but yeah, one of the things we were going to talk to Dustin about tonight is from a tech's point of view, a service tech, not mechanic, by the way, there's a difference. So a service tech's point of view, how do you keep your Ecoboost running as good and as long as possible, right?
I'm gonna go.
All right, so the engine goes through a lot of heat, right? The more compression you have, the more heat you're building. If you think about it, on a turbo, you have a compressor on one side, and then you have a turbine on the other. So your compressor is on the intake, your fresh air, your combustion air, that air is drawn in. So the reason why you have turbo lag, for example, is, think about it, the engine has to actually start performing before the exhaust gas can push the turbine. So as it spins the turbine on the exhaust side, the hot side, or the rusty side, some people say, of the turbo, as it starts to spin that, then that spins the shaft. And on the other side is sort of a turbine, but you call it a compressor. So it's made to grab air and to compress it. Now, when you compress air, you squeeze the molecules together and you generate heat. So you have what they call heat of combustion. It's not anything to do with the spark or the combustion process. It's got something to do with compressing the air. And so then that air goes to an intercooler, and an intercooler is just like a radiator, except instead of water antifreeze going through it, you're moving air through it, and you're trying to cool that off. Then that air gets pumped into the engine. Well, think about all of that has to happen in a split second, and so you have a little bit of delay. And so when you look at it, you're compressing the air, you're making it hot, you're trying to cool it off where you dump it back into the engine, whatever your ambient temperature is. If you're in, Orlando, Florida in July, it's who knows what it is, or out in Arizona. Um, and by the way, the more humid the environment is kind of rough on combustion as well, because instead of squeezing those molecules together and having good dense air to combust, you have a lot of moisture mixed into it, and that separates. And anyway, yeah, it's a bad day. Also elevation, the higher elevation. I had someone ask this week which engine would they go with, a 2.7 or a 2.3. To me, it all comes back down to, well, first of all, what are your needs? Are you driving back and forth to the store and to work and cruising the Shenandoah Parkway or the Blue Ridge Parkway? Or are you doing a lot of heavy off-roading, rock crawling, climbing? Are you going to be pulling a small trailer? We know the max towing is 3,500. What are you going to be doing with this Bronco? And, I think about, well, depends on where you are. If you're in the Blue Ridge Mountains, I don't know the highest elevation, but it's not terrible. I forget how many horsepower a rule of thumb you lose for every 1,000 feet of elevation. And don't quote me on this, maybe 30 or 40. But think about if you're out west, right? And you're out, Buena Vista, Colorado. I mean, your engine's making a lot less horsepower. So the turbo there is, greatly affecting, improving, actually affecting, or not affecting, but improving the performance of your engine, because the air is less dense. And so the turbo then is making up for that. So, what engine do you use? It all goes back to turbo talk. The engine that you use in the mountains would be based, like I said, what you're doing. A 2.3 is a great engine, but if you're going to be doing a lot of hauling, and I'll say a lot of hauling, not weight, but just towing a boat up and down the mountains, and if you're doing a lot of rock crawling and some stuff like that, maybe you look at the 2.7. So it kind of depends which engine you want to go with, and the horsepower you're looking for, and the torque, and kind of what you're doing with it. So, hey, Mark King, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That is awesome. Tonight's our first night of doing this, and you guys are great. We really appreciate it. Help build Gavin and I's little studio here, and get some more videos coming out. So tell Mark, thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. That's very awesome of you. We appreciate it.
Odd number too, 762.
So Miles said he was in south of Charlotte and saw 3 this weekend. Yeah, so we saw 3 deliveries. Like I said, right off the truck. People hadn't taken delivery of them. They were all pre-sold, obviously orders. Hadn't been delivered, but today I saw 2 on the road, so it's pretty cool. But hey, on these super chats, by the way, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much from the bottom of our heart. That is so awesome. And unfortunately, hopefully we can get Dustin back one day. But like I said, when you're live streaming and you're using technology to bring people in, especially from another country, stuff happens. And it's cell phones don't work well for this type of stuff. So
videos, you can wait and
edit.
And, edit stuff out or redo it. Live stream, people are already watching.
Yeah, well, we're going to definitely take a rain check on that. So, but when you're looking at the 2.7, we were talking earlier, my theory, and I know it sounds like I'm trying to play it safe and say 2 different engines with the Bronco Raptor, but the weekend engine builder, like I said, the hobby in me wants to just go crazy with the 2.7 because of the CGI, right?
Yeah.
The practical part of me says 3.0. So we're going to have to pick one. I'm going to say 3.0, and we'll see, And there was even rumors that maybe it was a 2.3, but did you see the video that Bronco Nation put out with the Raptor kind of taking off in the sand, spinning the tires?
I'm going to watch that.
I'm going to show it to you. Yeah, it was, to me, my personal opinion, it was definitely V6. So, we got 2 first editions at work last week, and I was blown away. Hey,
you worked at Ford?
dealership, I'm sure. So the first editions are awesome. I saw a two door. Where were we at? We were at our dealership, by the way, who we can't say enough good stuff about Wynn Ford in Hampton, Virginia.
Yes.
Um,
No markups. No
and
anything.
yeah, no surprises,
Yeah,
right?
just
Well,
straight
actually,
MSRP.
there was a surprise, but it was a good surprise. In other words, they helped us out with some stuff. But they had a cactus gray first edition two door Sasquatch, and it was the wheels are all black. Um, of course, hardtop. It was like 3 weeks ago, and that was really sharp looking. There was something about the black wheels and the logos, right? They had the logos on the hood and that hard top. The two doors really really cool. Now the two doors not practical for me. I've heard a lot of people discuss, well, the two door to four door is not a Bronco Sport's not a Bronco. Next thing you know, the little horse on the Bronco is not a Bronco, but they're all Broncos, right? It's just that we've come to the point to where a four door now makes more sense, especially for Gavin and I, right? Because
Yeah.
we got a lot of stuff in the back, and then you have
Yeah.
your perch in the back seat.
Yeah, like I like four door because in two door you would think, oh, it's only two seats, then I have to ride in the front.
Well, you can have
but there's two back seats.
So you have no, you have the
It
back
would just
seat.
be more complicated to fold the seat forward, get back, fold it back.
What was the biggest deal in Tennessee we learned about that? Just two people, two adults can sit in the back seat of a two door.
Yeah.
But three adults can sit in the back seat of a four door. And you remember why that was, right?
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you talk to the nice folks here while we send something here?
Okay.
Hey, I hope you guys can if you can see this, just talk amongst yourselves. So we're trying to get Dustin on here with this technology stuff going on. But in Tennessee, what did you think about the two door versus the four door, Gavin?
I thought that I liked the four door better because one reason, honestly, to me, it looks a little bit better. And also because if I have to sit in the back seat, I don't have to fold the seat forward, get back, fold it back. Then when I want to get out, I have to fold it forward, and that's really complicated.
Well, that's a good
it's
point.
Not complicated, but it's just like.
Well, you're just a little guy, man. You can squeeze right in there, but
I know. I mean, I could climb over the seats if I wanted to, but it's nice.
So I was going to mention F2 F tag. He said I've seen two on the road thus far. So where are you? By the way? But I like your last comment. Same. I have too many kids. Yeah, we're a family of five, so we have we have to have a four door. I mean, that's all there is to it. But honestly, I like the way the four door rides. I mean, nothing against two door. Two door is the traditional Bronco. I get it. The original. But the four door, to me, solves a whole lot of issues, and it makes it. That is the main vehicle, the four door. The two doors for the enthusiast, the diehards, and people that just need, a smaller vehicle. But they really do. The two doors look good.
Yeah.
I mean, I like them all, really. I like the Bronco Sport.
Yeah.
I said it. Cool. I like the four door. I like the two door.
Like the sport. Like it has like the helipad, or not helipad, but drum pad.
Yeah, was that like the Baja thing?
Yeah.
You always see
red and white.
Yeah, you always see it with the Baja stuff.
Yeah.
That's real cool. Where were we when we saw the Baja Broncos together? Carlisle.
Yeah.
Ford Nationals in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. We were there this year, and that was really wild. In Raleigh. Yeah, so there's a lot of Broncos. I'd like to find out where the most Broncos are. I was reading a comment that came in from F2F Tech right outside Raleigh. I hear a lot of the Broncos showing up down there, and I think what's happened is Ford's cranking these things out now, and I mean it's our story. If you haven't, we have the video about the timing on our second Bronco, and we need two Broncos? We don't. The channel does. I'll tell you that. But
yeah. I mean,
All right. So All Terrain Nation said California and Texas ordered the most. Wow. So is there a way to track deliveries or people who have, you can tell them in real estate. I want to say closed deals, but I should say deliveries from in vehicles.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, remind me to talk about that because Gavin has a few more minutes with us before he has to go get his 90-night sleep going on.
Eat dinner.
Yeah, we have we had soccer again today. And oh, by the way, you want to tell everybody what happened to me today? And all right. So the kids' soccer party was today, and they had a game of kickball. And what happened to your old dad? They're on first base.
I can't really explain it. All I can say is that you took a little bit of a tumble.
I took a little bit of a tumble. So here. Yeah, well, I took a little bit of a tumble. So here's what happened. So these kids beat up on this old guy, tripped me. I hit the ground. Yeah. And then two of them came over and said, "Mister, you all right?" Well, I think one of them said, "Are you alive?" And I was like I fell, kids, guys are crazy. But, but what were we saying about today? We were saying today was the last day. So we get to really crank out these videos. We have these videos coming up and we get to really hit the road again with our Bronco. I need to hurry up and put enough miles on it so I can do the oil change video.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't even done that with it. So, but it does need a bath. So the washing is going to be cool. And by the way, we were heading over to 4 Wheel Parts to pick up some top treat cleaner. It's like a kit cleaner, and protectant for the soft top, because we have switched over to a soft top. And so we didn't make it. A little traffic, people trying to play crash up derby on the interstate. So we turned around and came back. And yeah. So, and by the way, to the nice folks that I met in the Starbucks over in Virginia Beach on, what was it, Saturday? Thank you very much for the nice comments. It was kind of cool to go in a Starbucks and somebody with a Bronco in the parking lot mentioned our YouTube channel. So thank you very much. Yes, we appreciate it. And your Bronco is pretty sharp. And it was kind of cool to have the top down, but you know what? I'll take it. So Gavin and I are committed to ride with the top down in a snowstorm before it's over with. So just say you did it.
And thanks for the 5.
Yes. Guys, thank you, Flo. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. That is awesome. It helps to build this channel, and that means the world to me and to us. And we really do appreciate it. Yeah. So down in North Carolina, they have the big Jeep meetups, and we were talking about that.
We just hit 20 people watching.
Yeah.
That's not max.
Yeah. So no.
No?
Yeah. Man, you need to.
Or like live.
Gavin's caught up in the numbers, by the way. We have to tell him that doesn't mean anything. It's the quality of the content. But let's get back. So the Jeep thing in the Outer Banks, right? There was a big Jeep event there. Somebody said you should go to it. And I'm like, man, I don't want to get beat up in some alley somewhere. But he said no. It's a really cool deal, and I think other brands are invited to go, and it's just a great time. My buddy Scott and I are going down to try out the Bronco against the Wrangler and get to do some stuff. We're gonna have some fun. That's going to happen. Well, you're going to be there. You'll be in your little perch in the passenger side in the back. Call it your perch.
My seat.
Your seat. Sorry, I'll call it your seat. So we're going to go down there with the Jeep stuff going on. It's going to be really, really cool. So, but I am unaware of the event that you're talking about. I will check into it. It's pretty cool. What were we going to do? To our Bronco before we go, we need to get some more accessories, right?
Yeah.
So we only have
a winch.
I heard that.
But we have to. Sorry.
Well, we did the swing gate folding table. So that's the only aftermarket option that we've done. Now, one thing we wanted to do the storage bin in the back. And the question was, well, can we still store our doors in the back while we're out and about with the top up, or the top down, I should say. And I don't know if we can or not, but are we really going to take the doors off and store them with us, or are we going to take them off and keep them in the garage here? What do you think we're going to do the most of?
I mean,
But that's a good question. All Terrain Nation may know the
Let's-
answer to that. If you don't, let's figure it out. Like if you put one of those, they're roughly 11 inches tall, and this is that storage bin with the shelf, the drawer that pulls out. If you put that in the back, can we still store our doors in the back? Because I really like to have the security of that. The guy that installs the console vaults, he said, the way they attach through plastic and stuff. And you, I think anything like that in a Bronco, well, a soft top or any vehicle, really. I mean, soft top, hard top, if somebody wants to get in, they're going to break the glass. But it's a deterrent and it takes time. And the more time it takes, the more chance they have of getting caught. So they don't want to do it, right? So, but the thing in the back is nice because you have different compartments. So when you pull the drawer out, you have multiple spots and compartments to store stuff. Yeah. And we all know that Bronco's not full of little nooks and crannies to store stuff, and drink holders and stuff like that. I mean, it's enough for us.
Yeah.
But I think, a lot of people have the small parts and pieces, and the more off-roading you do, the more stuff that you have, the shackles and hooks and things like that. And, somewhere you want somewhere for the first aid kit. And there's a lot of accessories for the back of this Bronco too. So that's the one that I think we're going to go with. And we'll see. And what I like about it, it bolts into place, and the tie downs, the ones with the lassos around it, they actually get relocated and bolt back on top of it. There's no cutting, there's no welding, there's no chaos there. It's all bolting. However, there is a little trick to installing those, like everything else, right? Just like the fold down table on the swing gate. Yep. And I see that will not work. Okay. So yeah. So I was looking at the height and I said, well, the doors are awfully tall. And if we take away, let's say 11 and a half inches of that, it's going to be tight. So you could, with the top down, do it, right? I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it might look a little weird, maybe a little higher. So you have to pick. Do you want to ride around your doors or storage? And I think, quite honestly, for us, when we take our doors off, generally it'll be here, and we'll store them in the garage and go out for the day. Or it'll be when we go somewhere like possibly Townsend, Tennessee, and then you just keep them in your cabin or wherever you're staying.
I mean,
what do you think about that?
Keep them in the back, because what if it starts to rain at Townsend?
Like
it did last year.
Well.
Or this year, but like this.
Hey,
that's confusing.
The pavement is now checked in. Yeah, I agree. Pavement is now. Hey, nice to see you. Last time when you chimed in, I didn't say hello to you. At least I don't think I did. So hello tonight. Let's see. I am on the fence between choosing a manual or automatic transmission. 2.3. So what about not talking, and this is for Zombie Salamander. That's the coolest name in the chat tonight. Other than mild off-roading, what is your driving habits? Are you in the mountains, flat roads, East Coast, West Coast? I mean, what's the overall terrain like? That's the question. And to the pavement ends now, we actually have to trade some names one of these days so we know. Has your Bronco been built yet, or is your build date coming up? I forget when it is. I know I haven't seen Terrence in tonight, but I know he has a white base. Is it a white base? I think he has a white base coming in, but I can't remember your build date if you have that. So let me know what that is. But talking... All right. Yeah. In a second, talk about the 2.3 or versus the 2.7. I would say it's like the mild off-roading is one thing, but what's the rest of it, the ownership like? What are you using it the most? Are you going to drive? Is it a daily driver? Is it a weekend driver? Kind of what's the habits for that? Here, don't. Oh, no. Don't do that. So what are the other habits with it? So if you're going to tow anything small, like a small camper, a small, 14-foot boat, if you're in the mountains, it depends on where you are. Go ahead and scroll back up. East Coast driving, Northern Michigan, things. Yeah. Hey, I think if it were me, because of what I'm doing with mine, I'm kind of biased with that, but I'm 2.7. Because when I'm off-roading, I don't want to have to worry about shifting gears.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's already, to me, when I went to Bronco off-rodeo, there's already enough going on for me. Yeah. Right. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
There's already enough going on. And so when I start shifting now, I get it. The true hardcore off-roader, but that's not my deal. My deal is automatic, put it in gear and start paying attention to everything else going around, because man, I learned something in Bronco off rodeo was, and if you go off-roading, you get it, this, but my experience wasn't there. And there's a lot going on. And of course, the better you get, the more you do, the more you see, the more the feel of the seat of it, the less hypersensitive you are to all the other stuff. So then shifting gears is real fun again. So it's just going to depend if you really want to do, work the manual. And if it's a weekend toy, a manual, there again, even better. So I can't help you on that one, because I would say I'm partial to 2.7, but I get why the 2.3 manual is appealing. So Gavin's going to say good night. He has to head out for the night. So little man's got to get some sleep.
Get ready and go to sleep.
All right, buddy. See ya.
All right, see ya.
Have a good one. My little, like I said last week, the show's going to go off the rails now that he's leaving, because he kind of helps keep me on track with it. So, but anyway, getting back to the the engines that you pick and things like that, it's one of those deals where if someone asks me in the comments, hey, they're in the mountains, they're driving their kids around, they're doing fun stuff like that, should they go 2.3 or 2.7? And they wanted manual, automatic. Well, obviously, if you're going to do a manual, that could put you in the 2.3. I think the thing there is, what do you like driving? So a Mustang to me should be manual, just because it's the sport of it. I get it. My Shelby don't have it anymore, but the Shelby that I had, it was nothing but great with the 6-speed. My 91 that I still have is a manual 5-speed, and it's just fun to drive it. But I'll tell you, the older I get, the less gear shifting on a daily basis I want to do. So if I have a weekend vehicle that I'm not in the mountains, because I don't know about all that in the mountains, especially a little bit of traffic, and I'm not towing anything, then I'm going 2.7 automatic. If it's a weekend vehicle and it's just for strictly play with less than 10,000 miles a year, I may go 2.7, manual. First of all, I like the 2.3 manual, excuse me. I like the 2.3 in general as an engine. I really do. I like both of them. But just to me, it's 2.7 with the higher torque, and it's the automatic because I'm getting lazy the older I get. So that's it on that. Yeah, the 2.3 with the Ford Performance Tune should be pretty stout. So the 2.3, if you think about the 2.3, it's over the Focus RS, the Mustang. There is so many aftermarket parts and tuning for those that are, I guess, legal tuning, by the way. It's helpful that you're keeping it within certain guidelines, but that engine's solid. It really is. And there again, it has a manual. It has a chain driven oil pump, high velocity, high pressure, standard oil pump, aluminum, baffled, deep oil pan, that helps with the calvitation, or to keep calvitation from happening from slosh, especially if you're off-roading. 2.7 has that weld, but it's a different pan. It's a composite pan. But the 2.3 is a solid, very solid engine. Now, it is direct injection only. So if you're doing a lot of performance related stuff, maybe if it doesn't void the warranty, and that's an if, check for yourself. But if it doesn't, an oil catch can, I think, in my humble opinion, is probably not a bad idea. The 2.7's less critical with that. And if you don't know what that's about, we have the turbo video coming up, which will cover the oil catch cans as well. But anyway, yep, sports cars you want to shift, Dave. All Terrain Nation mentioned sports car. That's my deal. The Bronco, like I said, to me, it's fun to drive it. I absolutely, there's only one thing about the Bronco I don't understand. And I'll tell you what that is right now. And hopefully I didn't get the only one like this. I'm sure I didn't. The sun visor on the driver's side hits the rearview mirror if you try to go all the way to the windshield. But I'm having to dig deep to find something. And it's not that I don't even like it. It's just the only thing that I don't understand. that leaves another couple 100,000 parts that I'm okay with. I mean, like this Bronco is one of the few vehicles that I've ever had that I truly like every single thing about it. And I literally mean that. Part of it is, my age, I guess. I'm looking for something to sit in. The steering wheel, the diameter of the steering wheel, the grip of the steering wheel, the cockpit's laid out. So everything that you need is there. And I'm not trying to be a fanboy at all. It's for me, it's literally uh, I think one of the comments I made to one of the marketing people when they were traveling around to the different dealers is I felt like it was made for me. And so to me, it's a perfect fit. Now to some people, they wanted something else or whatever, but I think the Bronco's awesome. And we got talking about that because of, I don't know why. Because of shifting, a manual to me is fun, but it's fun in a Mustang or some other type of sports car. The Bronco to me is to get in it and go and have fun looking around and paying attention to everything else. And I can walk and chew gum at the same time, but just I don't know. I think my shifting days are they're starting to it's on the horizon there. But I'm anxious to see what comes out with when Ford starts to change the trims a little. Each year that goes by, we're going to have these special editions. I think owning a Raptor would be cool. It's unlikely that I will have one because there's no way. I mean, to me, it's probably going to be the GT 500 stuff. It's very low quantities built and probably a pretty stout price. And so I'll probably unlikely own one, but never say never, I guess. I almost bought a Ford GT, but my wife wouldn't let me. And so now that was before they were valued at where they're at now. This is when they were, a few years ago when they were a lot cheaper, like a couple $100,000 cheaper. But who knows? Maybe a Bronco Raptor will end up. But I think when you look at all the trims and you look at every single thing about the Bronco, it's built literally. It feels like it's built for me. I like it. Will I get tired of it one day? I have no idea. But right now, that's not the case. So we'll see how it works out. So hey, where we're at on the engine. So, and by the way, our guest keeps trying to, I guess, get in here, but it is not working. So the technology is not going to allow that to happen tonight. I am so sorry. We're going to try to take a rain check on that because Dustin's a great guy. If you go check out his YouTube channel anyway, DG's Pro Tech, the brilliant service guy, a service tech, and definitely some information that's going to be beneficial to you and your Bronco. At least, like I said, I know engines and, not on a service kind of a way, but like a hobby type thing. And, man, it just, is pretty cool. And Zombie Salamander, look, twice tonight that the shout out there. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that super chat. That is awesome. And I really appreciate you saying that. Yeah. The 2.7 and the 2.3, I think the whole back, which one's best for me, it comes down, you can't just ask that question. You have to go deeper. What are your driving habits? How much are you going to use it, daily driver or not? And, I mean, I drove we rode in a 2.7 in Townsend, Tennessee as a passenger. I drove a 2.7 in Bronco off rodeo in Texas. And then my Bronco's a 2.7. So it is that, to me, it's a fit for me. Now, a 2.3, like I like that engine a lot. There's a lot of things I like about that engine. I like the chain driven oil pump type thing. However, on the belt driven variable capacity oil pump that's on the 2.7, I see tons of value in that as well. And our oil change video is going to, I think, mention some stuff about belt maintenance, like how do you maintenance the belt? We do it with the oil. And we're going to talk about that and some of the stuff. And by the way, on that oil change video, definitely keep up with us. We're going to create a baseline for our engine's health by testing the oil now, which is really, I know I'm going to hit comments for that because I know at 1,500 to 2,000 miles, the oil is not showing a lot of any kind of a pattern, but to start a baseline, you need to know early on where you're at. And so around 1,500 to 2,000 miles, we're going to have the oil analyzed. And then when we change the oil again at 4 or 5,000, and then after that second analyzing, to check the analysis of the oil, after that, then I'm going to stretch it out to changing the oil about every 4 to 5,000 miles based on a favorable analysis. And so what does that mean? Check out the video. It's going to be cool. And that'll be coming up as soon as Gavin and I rack enough miles up on our Badlands, which is a shame. I know it sits in the garage right here below me till we rank up enough mileage to, to be able to do that. Yep. All Terrain Nation said a Raptor will be 75K plus. Yeah. And I have to think, just in my humble opinion, and I'm not ragging on anyone, but I think by the time it gets through the dealer's doors, it'll be 125, maybe. Well, if they build less than 8,000 of them. Now, if they're going to build a lot more than that, which I really don't see it happening, the price would be a lot lower. So what do you think? How many of the Bronco Raptors are you going to build? I have no idea. I'd love to know. I think the Badlands and the Raptor, to be honest. Yeah, the payment ends now. I'm reading your comment here. Yeah, I think that, to me, everything that I personally need or will use, I'll get in the 2.7 Badlands. Now, the Bronco Raptor's cool because if you look at, to say you have a Bronco Raptor is one thing. If I bought one for $125,000, I'm less likely to take it and just beat the crap out of it out in the wild. I just less likely to do it. Now, even my Badlands, the first scratch I put on it's going to be one of those days, but then after that, it'll be, okay. And, but I bought the Badlands to use. It's not so my family pick on me with my F-250. So it stays, on the pavement. But that vehicle is just too big and heavy to take off-roading. To me, I get it. People do it every day, just not me. And I have to haul a big trailer with it once in a while, my car hauler. So that truck's not made for off-road. That's why I got the Bronco. So the Bronco is going to be used for that. The big F-250 is not, but they call it a pavement princess or whatever they call it. So, but my Bronco is going to get used, and it's actually getting ready to get used soon in the Outer Banks. And it's going to be cold when we go, but who cares? We're going to go down there. We're going to have fun. And hey, we're going to be cruising down there with a Jeep. We'll see how that goes. But, let's see what's going on in the comments here. I want to catch up with that. KC Jones, the 7 speeds, easy to drive. Yeah, I don't doubt. I'm not saying it's hard. It's not like a 70s manual or something like that. And somebody was coming. I watched a video. I think it was Trail Cartel did it. He in his off rodeo, he got in a manual. And I mean, he he did well with it. Of course, he's great. He's experienced, but he did very well with it. And I know other people, I've seen other videos out there. They really, really, really like the manual. So it's just, I think for me, what I'm looking for is to put it in gear and then worry about goat modes, hero switches, front rear locker, sway bar disconnect. I'm going to concentrate on all of that. And I figure with a manual, there's a lot happening there, but however, a manual has, the best crawl ratio, I guess that's out. So anyway, we shall see, right? So what's the biggest concern that everyone has right now with the Bronco? I'd love to see it in a comment. Or are you still waiting on your Bronco? Do you have your build date, but no Bronco yet? I know All Terrain Nation, you're waiting. You're like hours away from getting yours, I think, right? And I can't wait for those videos. I'm sure they're going to be fun. Yeah. So the base Sasquatch material is real. Yeah. So when you look at, a base Sasquatch Bronco is awesome in Townsend, Tennessee. That's what we rode in the trails with. I really liked it. And I think there's a lot to build on there. There really is. But I'm, like I said, kind of looking for the lazy performance. I wanted the front and rear locker and the sway bar disconnect. And I know you can do some of that stuff yourself aftermarket. I just wanted it done and covered under warranty. So that's just kind of stuff that I'm going with. F2 Tech said you're getting yours in 22. Awesome. What trim are you getting at? You may have said it earlier and I didn't catch it, but what trim are you getting? And also saw your other comment, beating the Sasquatch for the price. It's hard to beat the Sasquatch for the price. That's something I was telling someone. It really is. The Sasquatch package is like, to me, and I get it there again, if you're the committed off-road person and you've modified other vehicles, then you have your particular you have what you like about it, right? And you're having fun. To me, I want to get in and, well, hit the remote start, but I hit the button, put it in gear, and go have fun. And that's just where I'm at. So I think if you do Sasquatch package, it's for it's for someone like me that, that's just where I'm at. Now, if you want a little more action and you want more hands-on, than the manual 2.3s right up your alley, or the base and then modifying it yourself. And that's the great thing about these trim levels. Look, Ford did this for a reason. They have a lot of trim levels out there, and they did it so people can, you like the painted fender flares or not. And of course, if you go Sasquatch, they're not going to be painted. But which trim level did you like? Marine grade vinyl, leather. Now, there's probably a trim or two in there that could go away. But you have your selection. I mean, you have a lot to select by. And I actually had a few people that told me that it was hard for them to decide on what to pick because of all the options out there. And what did it for me was Sasquatch. Sasquatch, sway bar disconnect. So it made it real easy for me. I was going Badlands. And first editions were obviously gone. I did see if I could reserve one in the beginning, but by the time the website started working, they were done. So, but I wanted the Badlands, and then we reserved the Wild Track, which we ended up changing to another Badlands. So that's just where I'm at, and that's the cool thing. So, yeah. So the Ford app, All Terrain Nation asked about the Ford app. I haven't gone into the app as far as all of the aspects that you can use, but the cool thing in the world to me, and the last vehicle that I bought, I know I haven't connected it to the app, my F-250, and I don't know if you can do this or not, but you can start your Bronco from your phone app. You can unlock and lock the doors. It tells you where you're at on fuel, also your percentage of oil mileage left. So, the countdown when you need your next oil change. And that is on the home screen. Let me see if I can pull this up here and make sure there's no too much personal info here. But to be able to, like while we're live streaming right now, I could crank the Bronco up. And they always ask you, are you driving? No, I'm not driving. That's kind of obvious. And you don't want to know what I had to nickname this thing, but that's it right there. See the Ford app. So it has a picture of your Bronco, sort of like your build emails and all your emails you receive from Ford. You have your Ford Pass points on here. So each time you get service done, you make sure that you enter that into your email, or have the person, the service, whoever's at the dealership, the cashier or whoever checks you out. I actually... So press and hold. Not going to be able to hear it. How about that for live stream silence? And I don't know if you can see that little thing going around. There's too much of glare on it. You're not going to be able to see it, but the door's just locked on the Bronco in the garage here. So I think it's pretty cool that the app has now made it totally user, and it's not just a little gadget stuff. If you you can look at when do I need my next oil change? Well, you can look in the vehicle as well, but right there on your phone, all you have to do is click on the Ford app, and there it is. How much fuel do I have? You can't remember. Do I need to leave to go to work early, or like where are we? Of course you have to name it as well. That's funny. So the Ford app, I think you're going to find a lot of good use out of it. And the thing that I like is you're able to keep track of what you're doing with it at the dealer. So if you go for oil changes or whatever you're doing, it's right there. It's pretty simple. I think it's great. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, C Bronco said, "Yeah, yeah. The 2 door is fun, right? That like the 2 door to me would be. Well, I can imagine the turning radius on a 2 door is crazy. I don't know what the numbers are, but I know I like the 4 doors turning radius. But having a 2 door in the collection one day would be nice. I mean, say they don't want a 2 door, but I think when you have to pick between a 2 and a 4 door, 4 door makes the most sense. Let's see. I thought about the Badlands, but disconnect sway bar in my Jeep. Yeah, so you didn't. Yeah, and look, you mentioned that you didn't want the MGV, and I was F2F Tech said he didn't want the MGV marine grade vinyl because it gets too hot in the summer. I understand where you're coming from there because I will tell you this: we had the top down one day. It was maybe 80 degrees, I think it was, and when I got in, you could feel it initially. Man, it was kind of warm, but I will tell you after that, I mean it to me, it seemed like it was weird. It seemed like it cooled off, but I guess I was getting used to it. But it didn't seem overly hot. But I do understand that with the marine grade vinyl, you can't have the I guess the power seats and the cooled seats. You have the heated seats, incidentally, even though it's water resistant. It's not waterproof. It's water resistant. But no power seats, and of course, I don't know if any of the Broncos had the AC. I don't think any of them have the AC in the seat, but yeah. So it is a little bit warmer, but we already had a spill in our Bronco, and literally, and it wasn't me, it was Gavin. Blame everything on Gavin, but it was a like a red Gatorade. It came right up with a little hand wipe and a damp towel, no stain whatsoever. And I don't mean because I don't want to see a stain. There's none there, and it cleaned right up. It was instant. So that part of it I like. I like the idea when if you're doing some heavy off-roading and the top's down and the windows are down and there's a lot of dust in there, Texas taught me that to where it's easy for them to clean those vehicles out inside. I would just hate for that real nice leather that looks good in these, or even the I would hate for all that dirt to get to get in there. Now, I mean, it is what it is. There's people hosing their stuff out. You have the washout floors. It's probably not wise to do it with a pressure washer, but and to me, I'm not hosing mine out inside. As far as overall, it's wiping it down with a damp cloth is great, but maybe hose the floor out, but not spraying the inside out. I've seen someone doing that already, which was totally awesome for them, but not for me. Um, yeah, so you know, this Bronco thing is awesome. I wish that, like I said, maybe we'll take a rain check and we'll talk to Dustin because the 2.7 Ecoboost stuff is something that I really wanted to hit with you guys tonight. That the engines are great. I really like it. The more you discover about them, look, we're not going to have a V8 in the Bronco, so the 2.7, the 2.3 turbo, and maybe the 3.0 in the Bronco Raptor. That's your selections there. But like I said, I'm not going to be totally disappointed if they do something crazy with the 2.7 in the Bronco Raptor. But either one of those three engines, the two that we have and the one that we might have, they're really, really good. So, um, yeah. Payment ends now said something you set your climate control. So when you do the auto crank up, yeah, my Bronco kind of knows that I like riding with the seat heater on. Normally I say the heat seater, but the seat heater. And when I get it now, even in the garage and I crank it up, the steering wheel's hot and the seat's hot. So I have to remember to adjust some of that. But that is a good point. You set your climate, crank it up, and it's going to be cool when you get into it. I think the only thing for me was the day the top was down and we went in to, grab some lunch and came out, and it was a little warmer there. But I think to me, the benefits of everything has has a value to it, right? It, there's pluses and minuses, pros and cons to every single thing out there. And I think the Bronco, well, with 7 trim levels and 21 and different interiors, it fits whatever your unique habits or driving, your whatever your use is for it, right? What are you going to do with your Bronco? Is it going to be sort of that Outer Banks, more of the luxury, or is it going to be the Badlands? trying to do something kind of crazy with it. I don't know if you saw the show when we came on our intro. Um, if you look at the intro, if you go back and look at it on replay, you'll see that we were on 2 wheels in a Bronco, and that was pretty cool. But that was a Badlands, and that thing just, they run the heck out of those Broncos every single day. And a little tire here, tire there, rocking, in a tread. These things are tough. And so anyway, whatever trim you want, it's up to you. It's up to your driving habits. What are you going to do with your Bronco? That is, to me, how you take all of these different selections and you make it work for you. And that's what's really cool. You're not having to, pick something and just be okay with it. You're able to like modify quite a bit. Now, I will say on the reveal night, when everybody's crashing the website and you're trying to decide, it was a little, because I knew time was of the essence. I don't know why. I'll tell you about marketing. I said it in last week's live stream that the marketing, you were sold on the Bronco through all that. You were probably thinking about, off-roading or going camping or doing all this, stuff. You were sold. The emotional sell of that was the best I've ever seen. I mean, literally better than any phone or anything like that. Before the show came on TV, the internet, wherever you watched it, you didn't need a Bronco. When it went off, you needed a Bronco. And that's when like it wasn't halfway. It was just a few minutes when I saw the early Bronco leave the screen and the two-door, I think it was the Cyber Orange, with the horses. I was like, dang, I'm getting one. That's all there is to it. And so I was immediately punching the buttons trying to figure out which one to get. So I don't know about you, but I had to go through it real quick. And the Badlands stood out to me because of I think it was advertised as the most capable off-road. And I figure, well, that's me. If you're going to go big. And so that's why I picked the Badlands. Anyway, little distraction. I'm watching the replay the time lapse over here on the monitor next to me. And it's like, I keep seeing somebody moving over here. It's like, huh. But you know what? Live streaming this Bronco content. I wanted to say again, in case you didn't tune in last week, this is new to Gavin and I, and we really appreciate every single sub, whether you're number 1 or you were 1,000 or 1,011, wherever you are. We appreciate you. We really, really look forward to doing this live every single Sunday night. There will be technical glitches like tonight, but hey, we pick right up and we go from there. So this content, it's fun. It's doing it. I like watching other live streams. All Terrain Nation. If you like live underneath a rock or something and you haven't seen it, check out his live stream. Comes on every Sunday night. One of the most entertaining. Also, the comments there. It's his own environment in the comments. It's great, but great content. Learn something every week. So big shout out to him. And there's other channels out there as well. These videos that we see, it's just really good stuff, And so it's fun to trade all this and to meet everyone. And one of these days I'll meet you in person. So the next place that I guess we can kind of all meet up is Townsend, Tennessee, Supercell East. So that's coming up very, I guess the announcements will come up soon, even though I think some dates are already online, but the official announcements. And so that'll be there in the spring of 22. So that's going to be cool. Hey, look, we're out. I appreciate every single one of you watching. Have to head out early tonight. Have a real early day tomorrow. It's going to be a fun Monday, but I hope everyone has a great, successful week. If you haven't got your Bronco and it's ordered and it's built, I hope you get it like tomorrow or Tuesday. And if you don't have a build date, it's coming right around the corner. I went from hopeless, like literally I was hopeless about this thing, to getting a build date, to a built Bronco, to a delivered Bronco. And it was absolutely outstanding. So, hey, everyone, thank you for tuning in tonight. And I will see you next Sunday night at 8 p.m. And watch out for a video we'll be dropping this week. Everyone, see you. Be blessed. See you.